Welcome back to another video. On this channel, we talk about tech, life, culture, sometimes stimulus check updates. We give you latest breaking news. And we talk about things that help you get ahead in life. In this brief video today, we're going to cover some breaking news headlines that have recently happened over the weekend. And we're going to kind of have a dialogue back and forth. First and foremost, the Supreme Court absolutely shuts down and shuts the door on the Texas lawsuit where over 17 other states joined in to try to overturn the election. The main focus on this was not the fraudulent allegations. It was more so the way that the states overrode their constitution that was written into that state. They changed some of the laws when it comes to mail-in voting, and they didn't follow certain guidelines, and that's the basis of the Texas lawsuit. So there's a lot of information going around about that. More and more Republicans are joining the party, even though the Supreme Court put a hard stop on this going forward. They're trying some loopholes to get around it, to try to get in there and have some type of legal battle so that they can, President Donald Trump doesn't want to concede, and he's a stubborn man. He's going to fight up until the very last moment. And I think he has every right to. If he feels that there were irregularities and some type of mishandling of the election process, there is a right to due process. There is a right for Donald Trump to take it as far and as wide and as deep as he can to try to get some answers. He'll concede if he understands and he sees proof that everything was done in the way that it was supposed to be done. We'll be okay as long as we know that everything was done in the right order. As of right now, with all of the signed affidavits, people sign these legal documents saying that they would rather go to jail than to not speak up and tell the truth. That's kind of a big deal. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't sign a piece of paper allowing myself to go to jail and be arrested under punishment of perjury based on a lie. We're going to go into stimulus news right now. The IRS just reported, get this, it says by its own error, it has sent $1,200 stimulus checks overseas to non-Americans. It's pretty wild when you think about it. A Swedish woman says, she's 78 years old, by the way, a Swedish woman in Sweden, she lives in Stockholm, received a $1,200 stimulus check. Wigfrost, which is her name, was surprised in July to get a $1,200 stimulus check in the mail from the United States Treasury. It was followed up by a letter from the White House signed by the president, addressed to my fellow Americans, included in her economic impact payment when it arrived. She said to herself, I couldn't believe it. She said, they're sending it to me. Why? It's crazy, isn't it? But can you imagine if she's the one reporting this right now, how many other, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of stimulus checks went into the hands of the wrong people that don't even live in the United States? Now, this kind of boggles my mind. How could the IRS, government-run facility, well, I kind of can understand it, but how can the IRS make such a massive mistake to send stimulus payments outside, addressed, signed, stamped, paid for to Stockholm, Sweden? I don't understand that. That makes absolutely no sense. It actually boggles my mind. We're in 2020, aren't we? And 2020 has been full of twists and turns and really, really weird things happening. In other headlines, there's a lot of people worried that they're going to have to give back their $1,200 stimulus check payment. There's a headline from MarketWatch that says, do I have to give back my $1,200 stimulus check? And then it says, don't fall for these myths about the payment. So number one, first and foremost, do you have to give back your stimulus payment? Absolutely not. Full stop, period. No. The economic impact payment you received obviously depended on how much you made, how much you made in 2018 and 2019. Now, it says here, some of the confusion may lie in the payment technical terms. Now, the stimulus checks are considered an advance tax credit. It's not a refund, as in you're getting a loan from the IRS that you have to then later on pay back when you do your 2020 taxes or 2021 taxes. So don't be mistaken, and don't let anybody fool you into thinking you have to take all that money and give it back. It was a credit. So when you would go and do your taxes in 2020, there were to be certain documents and certain forms that your accountant or your CPA would fill out for you on your behalf, and they would declare if you got this stimulus check. If you got this stimulus check, they would deduct it from the tax credit that you would normally get. But you're not going to owe that full $1,200 back. You would normally get a certain amount of tax credit every year for certain things, whether you have children or other things. And this is this is kind of like an advancement of that tax credit. So if you didn't receive that $1,200 check, you can let your accountant know, let your CPA know, and they'll then go ahead and apply for that $1,200 tax credit again. And you should see something in your 2020 or 2021 tax return. So make sure, I'm not a professional CPA or accountant, but this is from what I understand. So make sure you go ahead and speak to your CPA, your accountant, the person that does your taxes. I would probably, under these circumstances, go and see a professional. Try not to do it on your own. It may be a little confusing. You may not figure it out. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows full well about them. A galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will fully understand what space and spaceship are about. Now, this recently came out in December 8th, which was just a few days ago, December 8th, 2020. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenwards by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials, ETs, aliens, from a galactic federation. A galactic federation is like, the United States of America would be Galactic Federation in space. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Well, sorry, ET, we actually just published it. So I hope you don't, vaporize us. They said humanity is not ready for it. Former head of Israeli Defense Space told a newspaper in an interview in Hebrew, ran on Friday, that gained a lot of traction over the weekend. So let's see what he says here.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. 𝗦𝗣𝗡𝗖𝗜𝗔𝗟 is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces. Well, we did ask the White House, the Department of Defense and Israeli officials to comment. So far, they have not responded to the NBC News request, and I wonder if they ever will.
So think about that, guys. He's 87 years old. The dude has nothing else to lose in life. Why not come forward with a crazy story like this? Even if they write him off and call him an absolute nut job, it's still out there. And what if, just what if there is some truth to the Galactic Federation and Trump knowing full well about them up until this point? Can you imagine going out of 2020 with a bang? Now, there's been reports, even naval officials have reported seeing flying objects, unidentified flying objects, and actually video being released. There's been reports that the government has known about this for many, many years, and there's been documents that even come out to back up their claims. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty interested to see if there are extraterrestrials, aliens out there watching us, listening to us, maybe even doing, apparently from this gentleman here in Israel, we've had a contract with them, and they mean us no harm. The Galactic Federation. Guys, my name is Mark. I appreciate you watching this video. If you found any value, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That little tiny bell gets you notifications every time we drop a video. Hit the like button and comment down below. I want to get a dialogue going. And last but not least, share this video with your network. Guys, live well, laugh a little louder today, and learn to be a better you. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.